My name is Eliza Thorne. I am 30 years old. I am the founder and CEO of Thorne Wellness, a seven-figure mental health clinic in Portland, Oregon. My clinic specializes in trauma recovery and family dysfunction therapy. I have helped over 3,000 people rebuild their lives after toxic relationships. I have a waiting list 6 months long. My name is Eliza Thorne, and my mother just sent me a legal summons. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday morning. The FedEx truck pulled up to my office building at exactly 9:30. The receptionist handed me the package with a confused expression. The return address was from a law firm I had never heard of. My stomach turned to ice as I opened it. The papers inside demanded I appear in family court. My mother was suing me for emotional damages. She claimed I had abandoned her and caused her severe psychological harm. The blood rushed to my ears as I read the words. I had not spoken to my mother in 11 years, not since the day I walked out of her house at 18 and never looked back. My mother taught me that love was conditional. She taught me that affection was a currency to be earned through obedience and perfection. She taught me that my worth was measured by how well I served her needs. The pattern was clear from my earliest memories. My mother would smile at me in public. She would hold my hand in front of other parents. She would tell people how proud she was of her daughter, but behind closed doors, the mask would slip. The cruelty would emerge. I was 6 years old the first time I remember her true face. We were in the kitchen. I had spilled milk on the table while trying to pour myself a glass. The ceramic hit the wood with a soft thud. My mother's hand struck my cheek before I could even look up. "You're so clumsy," she hissed. "Your sister would never make such a mess." My sister was 8 years older. She was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, the one who received praise and attention and love while I received criticism and punishment in silence. I was 8 when I learned to stop expecting anything from my mother. I had brought home a perfect report card, straight A's in every subject. I had studied for weeks. I had stayed up late practicing my multiplication tables. I had earned every single point. I placed the paper on the kitchen counter with trembling hands. "Look what I got," I said softly. My mother glanced at it briefly. "That's what you're supposed to do," she said. "Why are you acting like this is special?" I was 12 when I realized my mother hated me. We were in the car on the way to my sister's dance recital. I had begged to come along. I wanted to see my sister perform. I wanted to feel like part of the family. My mother turned to me in the passenger seat. "You know your sister is the talented one," she said. "You should focus on being helpful instead of trying to compete with her." I was 16 when I stopped crying about it. I had made the varsity soccer team. I had worked harder than anyone else at tryouts. I had run until my lungs burned. I had practiced my footwork until my feet bled. My coach had called me a natural talent. My mother refused to attend any of my games. "It's too far to drive," she said. "And besides, your sister has piano lessons that day." The ultimate betrayal came when I was 17. I had saved every penny from my part-time job at the grocery store. I had worked every weekend and every summer break. I had sacrificed my social life and my sleep. I had enough money to pay for my first year of college. My mother found out about my savings. She took every single dollar. She said it was for family emergencies. She said I was being selfish for keeping money from my own family. She said I should be grateful she was teaching me about responsibility. I walked out the day after my 18th birthday. I packed one suitcase. I took my birth certificate and my social security card. I left everything else behind. I did not say goodbye. I did not explain myself. I simply closed the door and never looked back. For 11 years, I heard nothing from my mother, not a single birthday card, not a single phone call, not a single attempt to reach out. I worked 3 jobs while attending community college. I lived in a studio apartment with no heat. I ate ramen noodles for every meal. I studied until 3 in the morning. I graduated with honors. I got my master's degree in clinical psychology. I started my own practice. I built it from nothing. I worked 16-hour days. I took out business loans. I hired staff. I expanded to a second location. I became the leading expert in my field. My clinic now generates over $1 million in annual revenue. I own my home outright. I have investments and savings. I have built a life of stability and success, all without a single word of support from my mother. The legal summons was not about love. It was not about family. It was about money. My mother had heard about my success through mutual acquaintances. She had seen my name in local business publications. She had discovered that I was no longer the powerless child she could control. She needed money for her own debts. She needed someone to blame for her unhappiness. She needed to punish me for escaping her control. I scheduled a meeting with her attorney. I wore my most expensive suit. I carried copies of my tax returns. I brought documentation of my clinic's success. I sat across from the lawyer in a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows. The city skyline stretched out behind me. I looked like exactly what I was, a successful businesswoman who had built everything from nothing. "My client is seeking compensation for emotional distress," the attorney said. "She feels abandoned by her daughter." I placed a stack of papers on the table. "These are my financial records," I said calmly. "This is proof of the life I built without her help. This is evidence that I am not the powerless child she remembers." The attorney flipped through the documents. His face changed. He stopped speaking about emotional damages. He stopped talking about family court. He asked if we could discuss a settlement instead. I left that meeting with a signed agreement. My mother would receive nothing. She would drop the lawsuit immediately. She would never contact me again. I walked out of the law office and stood on the sidewalk. The Portland rain fell softly around me. I felt nothing, no anger, no sadness, no regret, just the quiet certainty that I had done what I needed to do. Abuse does not become discipline just because a parent uses cleaner words for it. Favoritism is not love just because it comes from family. Success is not betrayal just because it happens without parental permission. Real family is built on mutual respect and healthy boundaries. Real love does not require you to sacrifice your well being for someone else's comfort. You are allowed to protect yourself. You are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to walk away from people who hurt you. You do not owe anyone access to your life just because you share DNA. The strongest thing you can do is choose yourself.